everybody. So we're going to read the last half of chapter 39 from Children of Blood and Bone, because the last video cut me off halfway through a little bit in. So we are at the top of page 285, and Enid says, "Rawer than I knew pain could be. Cold rock hits my bare feet as she climbs the snow-capped mountains of Abaddon. The warm smell of jollof rice wraps around me. My heart stops when the guard kicks down the wooden door of their home. Orisha's guards. My guards. The very sight of them suffocates me, like a grillion squeezing my throat. 1,000 instances flash before me, 1,000 crimes bearing the seal of Orisha. The snow leopard shines as the guard's ironclad fist collides with her father's jaw. It gleams when the blood-covered train wraps around her mother's neck. I see it all. The world Father created. The pain she's forced to live in. Mama! Zelly screams, a cry so mangled it doesn't even sound human. Dzain covers her in the corner of their hut, a desperate attempt to hide her from the world's pain. It all speeds past, a blur, yet an endless stretch of time. Thrashing as she runs after her mother, freezing when she gets to the tree. Skies. The horror sears into my brain. Magi bound by magicite chains, ornaments of death, hanging for the world to see. It's a wound that reverberates through my core, a decree to any diviner who lived through that night. In Father's Orisha, this was the only end Magi could meet. It takes everything in me to fight Zelly's memories back. Her sorrow drags me down like a vengeful current. With a lurch, I snap back to reality. My sword hangs above her chest. Curse the skies. My hand shakes. The moment to kill still hangs between us, yet I can't bring myself to move. Not when all I see is the scared and broken girl. It's like seeing her for the first time, the human behind the Magi. Fear embedded in the pain. Tragedy caused in Father's name. Father. The truth sears, a bitter liquor burning down my throat. Zelly's memories don't hold the villains Father always warned of, only families he tore apart. Duty before self, his creed rings through my ears. My father, her king, the harbinger of all this suffering. With a cry, I strike down. Zelly flinches at my speed. The cords binding her fall into the dirt. Her eyes snap open and she scrambles back, waiting for my attack, but it doesn't come. I can't be another person bearing the seal of Orisha who causes her pain. Zelly's mouth falls open. Questions and confusion hang on the curve of her lips, but then her head snaps to the masked figure in the dirt. Her eyes go wide with the realization. Dzain! She rushed to her feet, nearly tripping in the process. Her brother's name echoes through the darkness. When nothing answers her, she falls to the earth. Against my will, I sink with her. I finally know the truth, yet I don't know what in Sky's name I'm supposed to do. Okay, so we have just ended chapter 39, and so Enid is able to see into Zelly's memories and has this massive change of character. So how is he changing? And your prediction, what do you think he's going to do with this changing character after this point? So chapter 40, we're in Zelly's perspective. I don't know how long I lie in the dirt. 10 minutes, 10 days. A cold like I've never known settles into my bones. The chill of being alone. I don't understand. Who were those masked fighters? What were they after? They moved so fast. There was no way we could have avoided them. Unless you kept running. The truth puts a bitter tang on my tongue. Even the fastest mask would be nothing compared to Nayla's speed. If we had just ridden off on Nayla, the men couldn't have ambushed us. Amari and my brother would be safe, but I ignored Dzain's warning and he paid the price. Dzain's always paying my price. When I ran after the guards who took Mama, he weathered their beatings to drag me back. When I saved Amari from Lagos, he gave up his home, his team, his past. And when I decide to fight Enid, it's not me who gets taken, it's him. Always Dzain paying for my mistakes. Get up. A voice rings through my head, harsher than it's ever been. Go after Tizane and Amari. Get them back now. Whoever these masked men are, they've made a fatal mistake. One I will ensure is their last. Though my body feels like lead, I drag myself to my feet and go over to where Enon and the masked figure lie. Enon leans against a trunk, face pinched, still clutching his chest. When he sees me, he wraps his hand around the hilt of his sword, but still he doesn't attack. Whatever fire he summoned to fight me is extinguished. In its ashes, dark circles have formed under his eyes. He seems smaller than he did before. His bones pull against his blanched skin. He's fighting it. The realization sets in as the air around me chills. He's pushing down his magic. He's making himself weak again. But why? I stare at him, confusion gathering by the second. Why did he cut me from that net? Why isn't he raising his sword against me again? The why doesn't matter. The harsh voice rings inside my head. Regardless of his reasons, I'm still alive. If I waste any more time, my brother could end up dead. I turn away from Enon and press my foot to the masked boy's chest. Part of me itches to unmask him, but this will be easier if I can't see his face. He seemed like a giant when he dragged me through the forest. Now his limp body looks frail, perfectly weak. Where'd you take them? I ask. The boy stirs but stays silent. Wrong choice. Worst choice. I reach for my dropped staff and thrust down, smashing the bones in his hand. Enid's head snaps up as the boy lets out a violent howl that echoes into the night. Answer me, I yell. Where'd you take them? I don't... His screams grow louder, but they're not loud enough. I want to hear him cry. I want to see him bleed. I let my staff fall and pull my dagger away from my waistband. Tizane's dagger. The memory of him placing it in my hands before I walked into Lagos breaks through my grief. Just in case, he said that day. Just in case I endangered him. Tell me, my eyes sting. Where's the girl? Where's my brother? Where's your camp? The first strike is intentional. A cut in the arm to get him to talk. But when the blood flows, something snaps. Something feral I can't contain. The second strike is quick. The third passes too fast to follow. The darkest part of my rage breaks free as I slash him again and again, drowning out all my pain. Where are they? I thrust my knife into his hand as the corners of my vision blur. Mama vanishes into the darkness. Tizane's netted body follows after her. Answer me! I shriek, pulling the blade up once more. Where'd they take him? Where's my brother? Hey! A voice calls from above, but I can barely hear it. They took magic, they took Mama, they won't take Tizane too. I'll kill you. I move the dagger over the masked boy's heart and pull back. I'll kill you. Zelly, don't! Okay, so in here, we've always had this sort of interaction with Zelly that we know she really struggles with anger issues. She's struggling to deal with both her past and her present, and how does she handle her emotions within there. We're really seeing the struggle with emotions here. So what kind of emotions is she struggling with? And what would be her hubris here? So her hubris would be, what is that sort of fault in personality? What is this hubris that she has? What does she have to overcome to become a better person here at this point? In chapter 41, we are in Enon's perspective. I reach out, seizing both her wrists just in time. She stiffens as I drag her onto her feet. The moment our skin touches, my magic thrums, threatening to engulf me in Zelly's memories once more. I clench my teeth and force the beast back down. Skies only know what'll happen if I lose myself in her head again. Let's go, she seethes. Her voice still carries all the rage and ferocity of it before. Completely ignorant of the fact now I've seen her memories. Now I see her. Unable to stop myself, I drink Zelly in. Every curve, every line, the crescent-shaped birthmark along the slope of her neck, the specks of white swimming in the silver pools of her eyes. Let go, Zelly repeats, more violently than before. She drives her knee toward my groin. I jump back just in time. Wait. I try to reason with her, but without the masked man, her rage has found a new outlet. Her fingers tighten around her crude dagger. She rears back to attack. Hey! Zell. The word pops into my mind, a rough voice, her brother's voice. Dazane calls her Zell. Zell, stop. It feels foreign on my lips, but Zelly halts, stunned at the sound of her nickname, her brows knit with pain, just like the way they knit when the guards dragged her mother away. Calm down. I loosen my grip, a small show of faith. You have to stop. You'll kill our only lead. She stares at me. The tears hanging off her dark lashes fall into her cheek. Another surge of painful memories simmers to the surface. I have to brace myself to keep them at bay. Our? Zelly asks. The word sounds even stranger coming out of her mouth. We're not supposed to have anything. We're not supposed to be a we. Kill her, kill magic. It was all so simple before. It's what Father would have wanted. It's what he's already done. But the magi hanging from the tree still scar my mind. Just one of Orisha's endless crimes. Looking at Zelly, I finally have the answer to the question I was too afraid to ask. I cannot be like Father. I will not be that type of king. I let go of her wrists, but inside I let go of so much more. Father's tactics, his Orisha, everything I now realize I don't want to be. My duty has always been to my kingdom, but it must be for a better Orisha, a new Orisha, a land in which a prince and a magi could coexist, a land where even Zelly and I could be a we. If I'm truly to fulfill my duty to my kingdom, that is the Orisha I must lead. I repeat, forcing confidence into my own voice. We need each other. They took Amari too. Her eyes search me, hoping, fighting that hope at the same time. You held Amari at sword point 10 minutes ago. You're just after the scroll. Do you see the scroll? Zelly looks around for where she tossed her pack before a fight, but even when she spots it, her face falls. They took her brother, her rider, her ally, and the scroll we both need is gone. Whether I'm after my sister or that scroll, those men have both. For now, our interests are aligned. I don't need you. Zelly narrows her eyes. I'll find them by myself. But fear drips from her skin like sweat. Her fear of being alone. Without me, you'd be knocked out in a net. Your only clue to their camp would be dead. You really think you can take these fighters on without my help? I wait for her to concede. She only glares. I'll take your rare bout of silence as a no. She stares at the dagger in her hand. If you give me a reason to kill you. It's amusing to think that you could. We face off as if we're still fighting, an invisible staff pressing against an unseen sword. But when she can oppose me no longer, Zelly walks back to the boy bleeding in the dirt. Okay, little prince, what do we do now? My blood simmers at her pet name, but I force myself to brush it aside. A new Orisha has to begin somewhere. Hold him up. Why? For Sky's sake, just do it. She cocks an eyebrow in defiance, but drags the poor bastard up. His eyelids flutter slightly, and he moans. An uncomfortable heat prickles the air between us as I step closer. I take inventory of the masked figure. Both hands broken, more wounds than I can count. He hangs like a rag doll in her hands. We'll be lucky if he doesn't bleed out. Listen here. I grab his chin, forcing him to look into my eyes. If you want to live, I suggest you start talking. Where is our family? Okay, so we just finished chapter 41 of Children, Blood, and Bone. So take the time to summarize all the different chapters for your journals and think about what are some potential predictions. Who could have taken Amari and Dazane, what's going on? Why would they take the scroll? Who else knows about this? What's going on? And what is the biggest turning point here with Enan and Zelly together going through with this? So once you've finished all that, make sure you finish your journals, and then we will quiz over this during our next class.